Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to solve a case study based question from probability chapter which had appeared in CBSE board exam 2025, and this question has 3 sub-questions. The first and the second sub-questions are for 1 mark and the third sub-question is for 2 marks, and it has an OR question as well. That is, either you can attempt the A question or the B one. So let us start with the first sub-question now. Rahul is a lucky charm for his cricket team. He has a jar of cards with numbers from 10 to 74. Before each match, he draws a card from the jar. If the card bears an even number, the team wins. If the number is even and divisible by 5, they win by a big margin. If the number is an odd number, less than 30, they win by a small margin. And if the number is a prime number between 50 and 74, they lose. Answer the following questions if Rahul draws a card today. What is the probability that Rahul draws a card with an even number? So let us try to understand the question first. Rahul is considered as a lucky charm for his cricket team. Now he has a jar of cards numbered from 10 to 74. Before every match, Rahul draws a card from the jar. So his team thinks that depending on what number he picks up from the jar, it is going to decide the fate of the team, that is whether they are going to win or lose. So here we have been given 4 events or conditions or cases depending on which the fate of the team is decided. The first condition is if the card bears an even number, the team wins. So let us write down the condition 1 over here. So here we have considered case 1. If the card bears an even number, the team wins. So we have numbered all the even numbers over here from 10 to 74, that is 10, 12, 14, 16 and so on till 74. All these are even numbers. Now the second case or second condition is if the number is even and divisible by 5, they win by a big margin. So this gives us our case 2, that is if the number is even and it should be divisible by 5. So we have to pick up all the even numbers between 10 and 74 that are divisible by 5. So the numbers are going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70. All these numbers are even, and since they are ending with a 0, they are divisible by 5. So if Rahul picks up one of these numbers, the team is going to win by a big margin. Now the third condition is if the number is an odd number less than 30, they win by a small margin. So this becomes our case number 3, that is if the number is an odd number. So the numbers are going to start from 11, 13, 15 and so on, and the number should be less than 30. So the odd number which is less than 30 is 29. So if Rahul picks up one of these numbers, they are going to win by small margin. Now the last case is if the number is a prime number between 50 and 74, they are going to lose. So here we have listed out all the prime numbers between 50 and 74, that is 53, 59, 61 and so on till 73. So if Rahul picks up one of these numbers, then the team thinks that they are going to lose. Now in the first sub question, we are supposed to find out the probability that Rahul draws a card with an even number. So out of these 4 cases, it is going to be case number 1, that is if the card bears an even number, the team wins. So to find out the probability of this, let us first find out how many total number of cards are there in the jar. So to find out the total number of cards, we have to take the last number given to us, that is 74, and subtract the first number given, that is 10. So we have written 74 minus 10 plus 1. So this is the general formula also we can say, that is last number minus the first number plus 1. This is going to give us the total number of cards in the jar as 65 cards. Now once we have got this, let us try to find out the number of cards with an even number, that is between 10 and 74. So I have listed out all the even numbers between 10 to 20 first, that is 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20. So these are total 6 cards. Now let us check between 21 and 30. So the even numbers start from 22, 24, 26, 28 and 30. So this gives us 5 cards. Similarly, we are going to find the total number of even numbers between 31 and 40. So between 31 and 40, we have 5 cards again, between 41 and 50 we have 5 even cards. 51 to 60 we have 5 even cards. 61 to 70 again 5 even cards, and between 71 and 74 we have 2 even cards. Now you don't have to list out all these numbers in your exam. If you understand the pattern, you can guess how many even cards you have to find out. Just to make you understand, I have written all the numbers. So when you add all these numbers together, that is 6 plus all the 5s plus 2, that is going to give us 33 even cards. So there are total 33 favorable outcomes. So here we have written favorable outcomes are 33. So the probability that Rahul is going to draw an even number from the jar is going to be 33 favorable outcomes out of total 65 cards. Now we cannot simplify this fraction further, so this is going to be our answer. Now let us move on to the next sub-question. What is the probability that Rahul draws a card with an odd number less than 30? Now this is our case number 3, which is if the number is an odd number less than 30, they win by a small margin. So we had listed out all the odd numbers less than 30, that is 11, 13, 15 and so on till 29. Now since we have to find out the probability, we need the total number of cards Rahul has from 10 to 74, and we had got it as 65 cards. Now let us find out the total number of cards which are odd and less than 30. So here we have listed out all the odd numbers between 10 and 20. So 11, 13, 15, 17 and 19. So these are 5 odd numbered cards, and between 21 and 29 we have again 5 odd numbered cards. So the total number of cards which are odd and less than 30 are 10 cards. So this becomes our favorable outcome. So here we have written total number of favorable outcomes are 10 cards. So the probability that Rahul draws a card with an odd number less than 30 is going to be total 10 odd numbered cards out of total 65 cards. It is 10 over 65. Now 10 and 65 go in the table of 5, that is 5 2 times is 10 and 5 13 times is 65. So reducing this fraction, we get the answer as 2 over 13. So this is our answer. Now the next question is, what is the probability that Rahul draws a card with a prime number between 50 and 74? Now this is going to be case number 4, which is if the number is a prime number between 50 and 74, they lose. So we have to list out all the prime numbers between 50 and 74 first. So between 50 and 60 we have 2 prime numbers, that is 53 and 59. So that gives us 2 cards. Between 60 and 70 we again have 2 prime numbers, that is 61 and 67. And between 70 and 74 we have 2 prime numbers, that is 71 and 73. So adding all these cards together, we get total prime numbers between 50 and 74 as 6 cards. So this becomes the favorable outcome. So here we have written favorable outcomes is equal to 6 prime numbered cards. So the probability that Rahul draws a card with a prime number between 50 and 74 is going to be total 6 prime numbered cards over total number of cards, that is 65. Now this fraction cannot be simplified further. So the answer is going to be 6 over 65. Now let us move on to the next sub-question. What is the probability that Rahul draws a card with an even number divisible by 5? Now this represents case number 2, which is if the number is even and divisible by 5, they win by a big margin. So we have to list out all the even numbers which are divisible by 5 between 10 and 74. So here we have listed out all the cards, that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70. Now these are all even numbers, and since they are ending with a 0, they are also divisible by 5. So if we count all these numbers, there are total 7 cards. So now we have favorable outcomes as 7, and the probability that Rahul draws an even number which is also divisible by 5 as 7 over 65. Now this fraction cannot be simplified, so this is going to be our answer. I hope you have understood all the steps and liked the video. And if you found this video useful, then check out this playlist where you'll find more examples of this kind. And if you're liking my videos, like, share and subscribe to my channel. and thank you for watching.